It is important to remember as you view this presentation that there has never been an aircraft built that is immune to the effects of severe icing. While the following scenario depicts a mission in a caravan, the flight experience, performance of the aircraft, and recommended procedures apply to virtually any aircraft under similar conditions.
Hello, my name is Bob Rice. I'm an engineering test pilot with Cessna Aircraft Company. I've been involved with the caravan since its inception, and since its first flight in 1982, I've been involved in all the flight and the known icing certification programs. The film that you're about to see depicts a caravan flight into significant icing conditions. In fact, some of these conditions will be beyond the normal icing envelope as defined by the FAA, for which all airplanes are certified. In this film, the pilot sometimes operates the airplane in a manner that results in less than optimum performance. This presentation will hopefully show you the critical results from not properly configuring the caravan for a flight into significant icing conditions. As you watch this film, be alert for things that you would do differently based on your own icing experiences.
Meet John Stapleton, a caravan pilot who is about to begin the last leg of a mission on a route he has flown many times. Apparently, that familiarity has bred some overconfidence. John stayed out late with friends and overslept. Now he's behind schedule. To add to his challenges, his briefing from the flight service station earlier included a report about a cold front moving into the area of his destination.
Good morning. Caravan November 0 Golf Oscar, a Cessna 208 IFR from Wichita to Salina at 5,000. We had a full briefing last night, and I'd like to get an updated briefing this morning.
Okay, sir. We still have flight precautions along your route for IFR conditions and moderate icing up to 17,000. Currently, Wichita is reporting winds 240 at 5, visibility 4 in fog. Ceiling's 900 variable to 1100 overcast. Temperature is 6, dew point 4, altimeter low at 2984. Salina is reporting winds 330 at 7, visibility 6. Ceilings 500 overcast, temperature 7, dew point 4, altimeter 2990. Area forecast is calling for much the same the next 12 to 24 hours. Pilot report from a citation that departed Salina approximately an hour ago. Reports the tops of the first layer at 15,000 with light icing and layers up to flight level 300. Anything else I can get for you?
No, that should take care of it. Thanks.
Appreciate a pilot report if you get a chance. Good day.
Okay, will do. We'll give you a pilot report. Bye.
John has filed direct to SLN via Victor 532 at 5,000 feet. His caravan has been parked outside overnight and has accumulated 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of frost on the wings. He has asked the FBO to have line service personnel pour warm water on the windshield for cleaning and wipe off the leading edge with their gloved hands. Cargo on board has brought the aircraft's gross weight to 7,650 pounds with a mid-CG.
Wichita Tower, November 0 Golf Oscar is ready on the right.
November 0 Golf Oscar, runway 1 on the right.
Taxi position and hold. Traffic heavy DC-8, 8-mile final.
With John now ready to disembark, what do you think about his judgment so far? What might he encounter during the next phase of his flight? What might you have done differently in the same situation? Consider these important factors. The pilot has clearly demonstrated complacency toward the mission. He is hurried and not directing his full attention to the flight conditions with which he has been presented. John should have requested that the airplane be put in a warm hangar or that Type 1 de-icing fluid be used instead of warm water and gloved hands. When John received his briefing and heard the report of a cold front, he should have inquired about weather in surrounding areas. Let's rejoin John as he takes off and see how he does.
The water that the line service people put on the windshield to clear the frost is frozen. It's a good thing I didn't wipe the frost off the leading edge of the wing. Well, anyway, I better go through my before takeoff checklist real quick.
November 0 Golf Oscar, runway 19 right.
Fly runway heading, cleared for immediate takeoff. Traffic heavy DC-8, 5-mile final.
0 Golf Oscar is cleared for takeoff, runway heading. This thing isn't accelerating like it usually does. I'm still not climbing very well. Maybe too much drag. I'll put the flaps to 10 degrees. Oh man. Come on, get up. What's wrong with this thing? Did I have that much frost? Good thing I had plenty of runway. How much did I over-torque that engine?
John has made several mistakes here. Take a few minutes to discuss what you think his mistakes were and what you would have done in his situation. Please give this some careful thought. At takeoff, John raised the flaps much too early. He also took off knowing that he had a contaminated wing. John noticed problems like the lack of acceleration and the unresponsiveness of the aircraft, but in his drive to complete his mission, he refused to abort the takeoff, deciding instead to live with the problems he was having. Due to the pressure brought on by landing traffic and the need for immediate takeoff clearance, he did not complete his checklist, a fundamental violation of standard procedure. In an effort to build airspeed, John over-torqued the engine, which may require him to get an unscheduled engine inspection immediately. The stall horn sounded, another giveaway that he should have aborted, but John feels he is too far along in the takeoff to abort. Under normal conditions, recommended takeoff procedure calls for 20-degree flaps for optimum lift and rate of climb. We're rejoining John as he is en route to Salina. Watch closely to see how he handles what's ahead of him.
Everything seems to be operating okay with the engine.
November 0 Golf Oscar, Kansas City Center, have a reroute for you. Advise ready, copy.
Center, this 0 Golf Oscar, go ahead.
November 0 Golf Oscar is now cleared at the Salina Airport via present position, direct Anton intersection. Hold south on the Anton 180 radial, standard turns. Report in the hold at Anton and expect further clearance in 15 minutes.
Roger, hold south at Anton, standard turns, report Anton. Kansas City Center, 0 Golf Oscar, can you give me a vector to Anton?
November 0 Golf Oscar, continue present heading Anton, 12 o'clock and 10 miles.
0 Golf Oscar, roger. What the hell is that vibration? It's below freezing. Cycling the boots. Oh, flame up. This stuff wasn't supposed to be here. Kansas City Center, November 0 Golf Oscar. I need to climb to 7,000 feet due to ice.
November 0 Golf Oscar, unable 7,000, traffic 12 o'clock, 5 miles opposite direction, and some terrain at 6,000. Expect 7,000 in 2 minutes, or if you'd like, I can give you a heading of 090 and you can have 7,000 immediately.
Kansas City Center, Cessna 20 Victor at 6,000 between layers, no ice up here.
Cessna 20 Victor, roger, thanks.
Ice has let up. Must have been an isolated cell. I don't need to climb now. Good. Kansas City Center, 0 Golf Oscar. Disregard request for altitude change. Ice buildup is stopped.
November 0 Golf Oscar, roger, maintain 5,000, report Anton.
0 Golf Oscar, maintain 5,000 and we'll report Anton.
Conquest 2 Echo X-ray, maintain 3,200 until established on a portion of the published approach, cleared ILS runway 35, report Flory.
Conquest 2 Echo X-ray, roger. We're cleared for the ILS approach 35. We'll stay on top at 5,000 until glide slope intercept and report Flory.
November 0 Golf Oscar, descend posture discretion, maintain 4,000.
0 Golf Oscar, we're out of 5,000 for 4,000 and entering the hold at Anton.
This is Salina Airport, information 1900, wind 310 at 15. Visibility 1 mile. Measured ceiling 500 overcast. Temperature -9er. Dew point -15. Altimeter 2988. ILS approach in use. Landing and departing runway 35. Advise on initial contact. You have information 0.
John has been in and out of trouble several times now. What do you think his attitude is? How would you respond if you were in the pilot's seat at this point? So how is John doing so far? Let's take a look. John's attention has been diverted from piloting the aircraft to a preoccupation with the performance of his engine. And when the ATC reroute comes in, it's just about all he can handle. John's situational awareness is poor as he focuses on completing forms instead of noticing the changing weather, the decay of his airspeed, and the mounting accumulation of ice on his wings. He's developing a bad case of tunnel vision. In his haste to get there, John has forgotten the anti-icing measures that could have reduced the severity of the icing problem had they been applied before flying into ice. He remains virtually oblivious to any and all PIREPs. John has get-there-itis that doesn't leave too much room for considering the weather. Our Caravan pilot is now ready for the Salina approach. He's picking up light ice at this altitude, but he thinks the accumulation will not be too bad if it stays at this intensity.
Kansas City Center, 0 Golf Oscar is level at 4,000 and in the hold at Anton. I'm picking up light ice.
November 0 Golf Oscar, maintain 3,200 until established on the portion of the published approach. Cleared ILS runway 35, report Flory.
Roger, 3,200 and cleared for the ILS approach, report Flory.
Kansas City Center, Conquest 2 Echo X-ray at Flory at 3,200. We're encountering light to moderate, clear to mixed icing.
Conquest 2 Echo X-ray, roger, contact Salina Tower 119.3.
Conquest 2 Echo X-ray, roger, going to the tower 119.3. So long.
November 0 Golf Oscar, did you copy the icing report from the Conquest?
Roger on the ice. Looks like the guy said about a ½ inch of clear ice. Guess I should cycle the boots.
So how is John doing so far? What would you have done differently? What would you do now? Now, about 4 miles from Flory, the final approach fix, John is in moderate icing. The autopilot is still engaged, and he has been watching the trim wheel move as the autopilot adjusts the trim settings. Worried about ice accumulation on the aircraft, he's thinking it's about time to disengage the autopilot.
Man, this stuff is thick.
I'm glad this is about over. This much ice, I should be hand flying the airplane.
November 0 Golf Oscar, contact Salina Tower 119.3 today.
0 Golf Oscar, roger, Salina Tower on 19.3. Salina Tower, November 0 Golf Oscar at Flory 3,200 in heavy icing.
November 0 Golf Oscar, Salina Tower, roger at Flurry. We have ice pellets at the airport. Wind 31015, gust 25. The temperature is 21 Fahrenheit. The altimeter is 2988. November 0 Golf Oscar, can you reduce speed to 100 knots or less, or be ready for a possible go-around. Equipment on the runway conducting a brake action check.
Roger on the freezing precip. Unable for the speed reduction, I have to stay faster than 105 knots. I'm having trouble holding this speed. Zero Golf Oscar is declaring an emergency. I need an immediate landing.
November 0 Golf Oscar, roger on the emergency. We'll clear the runway immediately. You are clear to land any runway. Braking action is forward. Do you need the emergency equipment roll?
0 Golf Oscar, negative on the equipment. What I really need is to get on the ground. Oh, yep, that's why they said no flaps. Come on.
John has made some decisions that have put him in a serious predicament. What happened to the aircraft when the autopilot disengaged? How about when the flaps were extended? Having deviated from standard operating procedures, John is now convinced that his only option is to execute the landing. His decision to remove the autopilot is another example of how behind the airplane he is. Correct operating procedure calls for the airplane to be hand-flown in icing or to disengage the autopilot periodically to ensure correct aircraft trim. He has once again applied flaps incorrectly. The correct procedure for the use of flaps in this situation with severe icing is to use no flaps at all. If flaps are already extended, you should not change the settings. Although he is clearly concerned about ice buildup, he is refusing to acknowledge its significance either to himself or to ATC. When ATC gives him an altitude change that means he will descend into known icing, he simply executes that descent. He is clearly not taking control of the situation. Determined to make it to his destination, he's refused to admit the seriousness of his situation and declared an emergency much too late. Finally, John has recognized the need to catch up with the airplane.
Come on. Come on. I have never seen it this bad before.
His Caravan is coming in below the glide slope and his airspeed is too slow.
Okay, I got a runway. Salina Tower, this is 0 Golf Oscar. I got a runway in sight. Okay, come on. Come on. Power all the way to the ground. I got keeping the power up. A little bit more. Just a little bit. We're almost there. Okay, looking good. What the am I doing? The runway is plenty long enough. Ground 0 Golf Oscar has cleared the active. Who do we got to talk to about the emergency paperwork?
Roger, taxi to parking. No paperwork needed. Glad to have you down safe.
0 Golf Oscar, roger. Man, what a flight.
His decision to power to ground probably saved him. Given his circumstances, that was a good decision. But then he applied reverse power on touchdown, which is not standard operating procedure for landing under icing conditions. The scenario you've just seen gives you some idea of the impact icing can have on an aircraft and a poorly prepared pilot. Although the aircraft shown was a Caravan, the decision-making process and the operating procedures for handling icing are essentially the same for any aircraft. This dramatization has depicted a pilot operating a Cessna Caravan in a manner that is not in keeping with standard operating procedures. It was intended to depict the potential impact on the Caravan's responsiveness and performance if the pilot does not properly configure the aircraft in icing conditions and makes a series of poor decisions. If you would like more information about flying your Caravan in icing conditions, refer to your Caravan Flight Manual Supplement S1, Section 9, and Airworthiness Directive 96-09-15. We strongly recommend that you review this information carefully and schedule training at an approved facility, such as Flight Safety International. When you follow the standard operating procedures correctly, you will be using the best information available to fly your Caravan in adverse conditions.